Have you ever received a promise from God that seemed too big or too impossible? Well, that's exactly where Abraham and Sarah found themselves. God told Abraham he'd have a son, a child of promise who would carry on his covenant. But Abraham was nearly 100 years old, and Sarah, too, knew she was too old to bear children. Small doubts started creeping in, even though the Bible tells us in Genesis 15 that Abraham did believe God and that it was counted to him as righteousness. God even took Abraham outside and said, "Look toward the heaven and number the stars. And if you are able to number them, so shall your offspring be." Can you imagine that? Yet as time dragged on, Sarah, like so many of us, grew impatient. And in Genesis 16, she took the matters into her own hands and gave her servant Hagar to Abraham to bear a child for her. It seemed like a solution, but it only brought strife and division into their home. And it wasn't God's perfect plan. We do this too, don't we? We hear God's word, but when the waiting feels endless, we try to force it on our timeline. This story reminds us that even in faith, a tiny bit of doubt can distort what God intends. But here's the hope. God's timing is always perfect, even if it doesn't match ours. Think about Joseph. He dreamed his brothers would one day bow to him, but it took over 2 decades through betrayal and imprisonment before it happened. David was anointed king of Israel as a young shepherd, yet he waited more than 2 decades facing giants and exile before stepping into that role. And Noah, God instructed him to build an ark, but it didn't rain for over 100 years. Still, Noah stayed obedient, continuing to build the ark day by day until the rains came. The promises God has spoken over your life will come to pass. But in the meantime, we just need to be patient, obedient, and focused on the tasks He's given us right now. Trust His process. It's leading you to something greater than you can imagine. And remember, is there anything too hard for our God?